After mounting pressure for action, the government is asking the public for their views on the best way to introduce roadside drug testing. It comes after desperate calls this week and last from the families of those killed by drivers under the influence of drugs. But as our political reporter Craig McCulloch reports, it's not a simple fix.
I just want to see justice done.
It was the call which went out last week, a grieving mother pleading for justice. A petition presented at Parliament demanding random roadside drug testing to help save lives.
Every New Zealander deserves to feel safe on the roads.
Today, a development. The Police Minister, Stuart Nash, has released a discussion document asking for feedback on ways to screen and test drivers for drugs.
We need to use technology. We need to give police the tools to go harder on this.
Alongside him in Wellington, the Associate Transport Minister, Julianne Genter. It's a shift in position for the Green MP, who's previously argued against saliva tests, calling them expensive and intrusive.
Over the past few months, I've been convinced that we can resolve those practical issues.
Are you two in agreement on this policy?
Yeah, very much.
Keeping in mind, it's a discussion document at this point.
And that document does highlight potential problems, namely the limits of current technology. For example, currently devices cannot reliably detect so-called synthetic cannabis or many prescription medications.
You know, we all know with drunk driving, you say your name and address and it can tell if you've got alcohol in your breath. The same technology that does not exist for drug driving, but we're still keen to push forward and make sure that we get it right.
National's Nick Smith has been the opposition's point person when it comes to drug driving, booted out of Parliament last week for barracking on the issue. He didn't respond in time this afternoon, but last week said there should be no barrier to introducing the technology.
Melbourne and the state of Victoria introduced drug testing in 2002. It is true in the first few years there were some difficulties. They have been largely ironed out, evidenced by the fact that it's now in place in both the UK and Canada. We believe it is, the technology is at a state that it is reliable, and we want police to at least have access to that tool.
But Ms Genter says National had the opportunity to introduce testing while it was in power and rejected the idea.
Simon Bridges was Transport Minister for 3 years. Not only did he not do anything about this issue, he actually turned it down. We are doing more than National ever did.
The consultation is to run until June the 28th, with officials to then report back at the end of the year. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Craig McCulloch.